What's happening, everybody? Happy Halloween. It is I, the Big Kahuna. Oops, gotta get it off fire. Happy Halloween. I gotta tell you, this is the best thing I've ever thrifted at Buffalo Exchange. For those of you who don't know, Buffalo Exchange is a used clothing store that takes clothes in on trade. And this is the mascot to Iron Maiden, and it's still got the tag on it. Way underpriced, but I'm keeping it. That is a badass thrift and then it was so cool. The eye holes are up here, and it look like you won't be able to see out of them, but you actually can. And so it's just a badass mask. Well, happy Halloween, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. We got a great show tonight. Just me, because our presenter has so much to present. I had to get through the segments quick, so just me tonight. So without further ado, let's introduce our guest. Now it's time for Jay's Tiki Talk. Each week, I drink a different rum out of a different tiki mug and try and match it up to my guest. And our guest just left. Where did he go? He's also on mute. Take your mute off, please.
Right, mute is off. All right, hi.
Yeah, the first time I've ever gone to the guest, they're just walking away like, gotta go. Mark and Robin Levine, how are you guys?
Hey, guys. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Doing great.
Yes, got to grab that red cup. Yeah, so Mark and Robin are from Bubblefast. They've been taking care of resellers with all their shipping supply needs for a long, long time now. And Mark's always got us up to date on what's happening with the new prices for the holidays and all that junk. So Mark's happy to talk to us. And he goes, look, I got a lot of content. So I said, all right, no co-host tonight. I'll just do my segments and get you right in. So in honor of Halloween, I pulled out my Halloween lantern tiki mug.
Nice.
And in honor of talking about Q4, I pulled out my 4 square rum. So there we go. I've worked it all together. And today at 3:00, I'm like, what am I going to do? I got no rums with 4 on it. And then I'm like, oh, yes, I do. Yes, I do. So cheers to you guys being on tonight. Now, what's in the red solo cup?
Water flavored rum and vodka.
Water flavored rum and vodka. That's not a good drink. That's not a good drink.
Well, I got to get through the end of the presentation.
Yeah, and then you can enjoy. All right, guys, sit back, relax. I'm gonna do my segments. We'll see you back here about 15 minutes.
All right.
Good.
Good to see everybody. Thanks for joining us for our Halloween thrifty business. And now it's time for our scores of the week. These are the items that you should be on the lookout for when you're out thrifting. Oops. Hold, please. There we go. All right. In honor of Halloween, I hope some of you know this movie. It's John Carpenter's They Live, and it stars the amazing actor Rowdy Roddy Piper. And he had one of the most famous movie quotes of all time. I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. And this is a VHS tape. Just sold it for $31.59 this week. We are hustling through the videotapes that I bought last year, and they are selling like hotcakes. Yes, I know it's 2022, but for whatever reason, videos are hot. Oops. There we go. Hold, please. There we go. All right. Sometimes I just pick up dorky things, and I kind of said, hey, Stace, you want this? And at first she thought she might, and then even she said, nah, it's kind of dorky. No brand, homemade, and excuse me, there was a brand, Aware, but I mean, what kind of brand is that? The word Aware is not going to bring anybody to this. But sold it for took an offer of $45, and I picked it up for $7.99, I do believe. So even weird dorky things, sweaters will sell. All right, how about a Jimmy Buffett concert shirt from 1981? I picked that up, I think, at Buffalo Exchange for $12.99. And as you can see, I sold it for $98 on eBay. Do not pass up any vintage tour shirts. And this one, there's the front and there's the back. Jimmy Buffett and the Carl Reefer. So this is even before they were doing dates, because dates came at a later time on the back of tour shirts. So this one was a nice flip, and it wasn't even up that long. It was about 4 months. All right. I've told you this a million times. If you're not listening, you're paying for your drinks. Stace and I went to a tiki bar, bought 2 of these for $100 each, sold them for $200 each. So that means not only were our drinks free that night, we got paid to have cocktails. So if you have a local tiki bar that sells specific mugs to their location, you too can drink for free. Whoops. I jumped ahead. Hold, please. And now it's time for our CD and cassette scores of the week. And as always, we start with flipping cassettes. Okay, this isn't a big sale, $14. But what I wanted to point out was there are 2 levels of Beatles cassettes, a little bit earlier and a little less quality, and then a little bit later. And these later ones have this blue along the side. I pick them up all the time, and I sell them anywhere from about $10 to about $25, depending on the title. But they're constant sellers. These Beatles cassettes sell all the time. So if you're paying a Peggy quarter or you're paying $1, $14 is pretty good, and they're constant sellers. So keep your eyes open for all Beatles cassettes. All right, for my record this week, it's a bolo on multiple platforms. It's not easy to find this record. The band is called Guava Jam, and the album is called The Sunday Manoa, and it's a Hawaiian album. And if you find it pretty much on any platform, CD, cassette, record, it's worth some money. But I just bought this not too long ago for $3.99 at a record store. I'm like, ooh, they don't know what they got. Oh, I just sold the CD too. And I sold it for $40 this past week on Discog. So just keep in mind, Guava Jam, any platform, and you will make some money. And now we go from flipping cassettes to flipping CDs. Okay, this is Cher doing a duet with Beavis and Butthead. So for those of you who are not followers of Beavis and Butthead or know their movie, you probably didn't realize that Cher did a duet with them. But this is a promo for the song from the soundtrack, and it didn't sell for 21. I think I took an offer of 10 or 12, but I got a nice note. The mom said, my kid really just discovered Beavis and Butthead and really wants this one song, Share with Beavis and Butthead. Would you take a little less? And it had been up for a while, so I was happy. Now, could that have been all bullshit and they were just playing me? Could have been. But I've been doing this long enough that I can kind of tell BS from an actual parent saying, hey, will you help me out for my kid? And I'm always happy to spread the joy of music. So I was happy to sell that. Now, sometimes I thrift the wrong things. They look good in the store. They look good when I scan them. This Congos, I don't really know who they are. There's not much about them. And this is a self-released album. That's usually a no-no unless the band gets really big. Like if you pick up Slipknot's self-released album or Michael Bublé's self-released CD, now they're worth a lot of money. No one knows who Congos is. This was on Amazon for 3 years, and I took it off and put it on eBay, and it was only on eBay since September 30th, and I got $25. I actually made money on a CD that I thought was a dud. The more I looked at it when I pulled it off my Amazon stock. So you never know. You just got to get your stuff into the right place, and then maybe you'll get it sold. All right, see that C before the 218.58? That means Canadian dollars. I don't know if Lisa Bowen is in the chat, but $160 for this Prince crystal ball. I paid $80 for it, and in fact, I got like 3 or 4 of them at $80. But I've been selling for like $150, $160. So I don't mind doubling my money. Plus, it's one of those things where I just hit relist. Now, prepping for the show, why in the world I took a picture of a CD box set with a crack in the case is really beyond me. That ain't who I am. I always change out fresh cases. I don't know what was happening this day, and I'm pretty sure it's cracked on both sides because there's the other side. I think that's a crack right there. So yeah, I don't know why I didn't clean up the case, but hey, I still got $160 and it was off to Canada. All right. Now, you might think, hey, Jay, $160, that's your good word of the week, right? Well, this is when I say to you all, do you believe? All right, I'm going to guess that maybe we have two people be my guess, who know who Nerd is. And so Nerd stands for No One Ever Really Dies. And Nerd is the producing duo of Chad Hugo and Pharrell Williams. Now, most of you know Pharrell Williams. I'm so happy. So this was their first CD as Nerd. They put out a few CDs as Nerd. And the reason there's two here, they put out a CD and they did all the background music themselves in the studio electronically. And the promo came out and the label goes, "We hate this CD. Go back and redo it with a live band." So they went back and redid it. And there's a jazz band called Sex Mob. So the jazz band did the background for them. So I had both of these promos from working in record stores that have been sitting around my collection for 20 years that I got for free. There's my two. And together they sold for $225. So yeah, 2001. So this has been sitting around for quite a while, but that's one hell of a return on $0. $225. So that's the kind of nerd level stuff I know. So when I'm teaching my CD classes, that's the nerd level stuff you are going to get. Sadly, not everything is a winner. And now it's time for our duds of the week. Do not let our mistakes be yours. All right, so I got this for free and I sold it for $30. So you might be saying to yourself, Jay, how's that a dud? Well, see those ears for the Cheshire Cat? Yeah, they didn't go out in the first package because Zoe couldn't find them. And so I was not home and I said, send them. I'll get home tonight. We'll find them in the morning and we'll ship them. So here was the tub of costumes and it had fallen out and landed sitting like straight up on a tub behind it. And so she looked through that tub. We moved that tub to look through it again, but we didn't realize that behind it, it was stuck on the tub. And so it went out, but we, just in case they needed it quicker, we didn't even ask them. We just priority mailed the ears out because, you know, when you're buying your costume, you need the whole thing. Now, speaking of Zoe and mistakes, this awesome Pendleton and Levi's combo action, there's the tag. Oops, there we go. There's the tag. This $80 sale is coming right back because this is a woman's shirt. You can tell by the buttons. For some reason, the woman who works for me, Zoe, who's been a woman for 20 years, who's worn women's clothes for 20 years, didn't realize it buttoned as a woman's, threw it on the male mannequin, and then listed it as a men's shirt. So, of course, the man who bought it went, this is too small. We have measurements, but still, we were the wrong. We had it in men's. We called it men's. We put it on the male mannequin. So we'll resell this, but it's such a bummer to get things back because we screwed up and put it on the wrong mannequin and put it in the wrong category. Whoops. Hold, please. And now it's time for You Have Got to Be Shipping Me. What to do and what not to do when it comes to shipping. Haha. I will come back to that. I did my out of order. Okay, this is a pretty cool Austrian, Oktoberfest jacket. I've had it for a while. It's the real deal. It's legit. It is awesome. And I was driving home on Indigenous People Day a couple of weeks ago, and we were about 90 minutes outside of Vegas. And a customer said, I need this jacket tomorrow. If I throw you an extra 50, can you overnight it? Now, Indigenous People Day, there was no post office, but there was FedEx and there was UPS. So I said, absolutely. So we got home about 90 minutes later, took the perishables inside to the fridge, and then I came over to the office, shipped it, and he had it by 10:30 a.m. the next morning. So when you get that customer asking for quicker shipping, because I had priority on it for $13.99. Yes, of course you will. Plus he paid $147 for the jacket. And to go back to the two duds, this was bought once and returned once, and I sold it for more money this time, and he paid $50 for shipping. So we're in the business of customer service. If your customer asks you to do something that is not nutty, and shipping overnight is definitely not nutty for a piece of clothing, do it. You'll have good customers, happy customers, and repeat customers. And now it's time for Where in the World Did Our Stuff Go? If you are not shipping internationally, you are leaving out 7.3 billion with a B potential customers. All right, here's another one of those CDs that sat for 3 Debbie years on Amazon. And Joey DeFrancesco is kind of a known jazz artist, but Steve Wilkerson really isn't. And so it's one of those things, again, where I think it came in a collection, but I'm like, no one cares. But let me try eBay. Just throw it up. I've been on Amazon for 3 years. And now it's on its way to Rome, Italy. And they paid $20. So back to, you got to find the right platform. Overnight shipping, I think was like $47, give or take, Mark. So $3 extra for my troubles. So again, have your stuff listed everywhere. You never know when someone in Rome, Italy needs a CD by a sax player that no one knows. No one knows. But he did, so that's good. And I am a happy camper that is on its way to Italy right now. And now it's time for the Thrifty Tips of the Week. Little tips and tricks to help you out when you're outsourcing. Okay, you know what's always hot? 90s funny / snarky t-shirts. And it really don't matter the condition. So this shirt says, honestly, I really was sick yesterday. Now, if you're not a skier, you will not understand this shirt. He was on the slopes all day yesterday with his goggles on, and so his whole face got tan or windburn, and his goggle and around his eyes were white. This sold, I listed it October 25th. It sold in 1 day, and guess where it's headed? Back to Lake Tahoe. Now, if you look at the condition of the collar, there's little nicks and stuff in it. You know, it was still a t-shirt. There was no major holes, but it's, you know, it's been well loved. It's been sitting around since the 90s, and someone paid $30 right away, to the point of, I thought, did I underprice that? Because I couldn't find the shirt anywhere, and I wasn't sure how much of a demand there would be. But one day I probably left 10, 15, maybe $20 on the table, but I paid $6, sold it for 30. So 90s snarky, funny t-shirts. Keep your eyes out for them, because people love buying those shirts in the 2020s. And now it's time for our online selling tips of the week. It doesn't matter if you're selling on Etsy, Depop, Mercari, Poshmark, or eBay. These are little tips and tricks to help you when you're selling. Now, I've given this tip many times, but I love it when it happens, so I always want to share it again, especially for any newbies. Sell your trash on eBay. Now, not all trash sells. Let's keep that in mind. But certain trash does, because essentially this empty bottle of Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select is just trash at this point, but not to somebody for $21.24 plus $10 shipping. So a lot of liquor bottles can be sold empty. I mean, all liquor bottles could be sold empty, but no one's buying Malibu bottles. But if you're leaving a party and you see an empty, nice-ish liquor bottle, grab it. That's money. I sell empty bottles all the time for $20 on up. I've sold empty bottles for $45, for $50. Just got to find the right thing. So, you know, never leave a party when there's some good trash laying around. And then also make sure you write, and the big tip is make sure you write empty bottle, so eBay doesn't think you're trying to sell booze. And now it's time for Close Encounters of the Thrifty Kind. All right, this is a thrifty encounter like no other. So if you look at my phone here, at 1:31 p.m., I was in Seattle. Zoe was here in Vegas shipping, and she always sends me pictures of the CDs that sell for good money so that I can use them later for this show and other things. So this rap group, the Alcoholics, I paid $2 at Savers, and it sold for $30. That was at 1:31 p.m. At 1:58 p.m., I picked up the exact same CD while I was in the record store. That has never, ever happened in all the years I've been doing CDs. She sends me that picture. 25 minutes later, I find the exact same CD. Now I'm paying more than $2. I am paying $9. But now that I know it's a $30 CD, I do not mind paying $9. Isn't that great? Isn't that crazy? I just love when crazy stuff like that happens. Sometimes they're funny, sometimes they're angry, and sometimes they're just plain weird. Now it's time for the feedback of the week. Come on. All right. So this was my, I think last show, it was my Where in the World. These 3 vintage blow mold made in the USA pumpkins went to Australia. As you can see, the AU in front of the 39.73, that is Australian dollars. And so they made it all the way to Australia. And the customer said, so happy with my Halloween pails, super fast and beautifully packed. Thank you. I mean, that just warms your heart, you know? They made it halfway around the globe in time for the holiday, and they didn't show up crushed. So I did a good job packing. All right, before we get Mark and Robin here, a little bit of housekeeping. If you have not signed up for my class yet, those of you who are new or have your friends signed up, what are you waiting for? It is this Thursday. It's a free class. I notice a lot of people who join the thrifting board say, I'm brand new, because one of the questions is, how long you been selling? And a lot of times we get the answer of, haven't started yet, but I heard this is a good group to join to get going. So this week, and if you go to, oh, shoot, I had a link ready to go. Register for this class.com. Let me get it set up here. You can sign up for the free class. There we go. Put that in the chat. Okay, as I said, not all bottles sell, but specific ones do. You know, when you say you can sell your trash, doesn't mean you can sell all your trash, just some of your trash. All right, so there's the link. Register for this class.com. And here is basically the 5 things we're going over. What to source, where to source, how to take quality photos, how to list your items, and how to understand shipping. And it's free. Come sign up and let's get you going on your journey. Veterans, you won't find too much that you don't know. But even if you're like 1-2 years into your journey, I bet you I will be teaching you things on Thursday. So sign up. It is 7 o'clock East Coast. Yeah, 7 o'clock. Now I'm second guessing myself. Excuse me. 8 o'clock East Coast, 5 o'clock West Coast. I don't want to give out bad information. And we are 4 days and 36 hours away from the class. So get ready. I'm just about done with it. I'm super excited. I got all kinds of fun stuff in there. And I'm going to get you guys ready to rock and roll and off on your eBay journey. All right, let's get our guests in here so we can figure out what the hell is going on this Q4. And now it's time for the Thrifty Business special guest of the week. Hey, Mark and Robin Levine, how the heck are you?
Hi, everybody. How you doing?
What's going on? Can you imagine I sold that CD and found it in the same hour?
That's good karma for sure.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You know, and we walked into a record store and at first it didn't look like there was anything good. And then next thing I know, I've got this stack. I'm like, oh my God, Stace, look at all this cool stuff.
Well, although I did notice you paid a little bit more this time.
Oh, yeah. But the fact that it just sold, I was like, unbelievable. I was so excited. I'm like, Stace, come here. You got to take this picture.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Congratulations. And
all right. So shipping, you know, it's the one of the things I'll be teaching on Thursday. It's one of the things that people have a big pain point that, and funny because me, you and Debbie were discussing it beforehand, and Debbie's still doing some old school things that I'm going to try and break her habit of. And it's one of those things too, where when you get into how you do it, even if it's not the best way, you're comfortable, you stay in your zone, you don't want to leave it. But however, the reason you guys are here, the shipping companies never let us stay in our zone because they change shit all the time. So with that,
all right. So I want to say happy Halloween to everybody. Halloween is the season of trick or treats. I hope you all enjoy your treats because all the carriers are throwing a lot of good tricks at you this fourth quarter. So enjoy the treats because you got a lot of tricks coming up. I do have a presentation slideshow, so I'm going to see if I can switch to that, and we'll be off and running. Okay, so thanks to Jason and Debbie and Jason Thrifts for having us on. We're going to present the show tonight for you about shipping. 2 things, housekeeping wise. You can take all the notes that you want, but I will give you a link at the end of the presentation so you can find it yourself online. And number 2, because I'm screen sharing, I'm not really going to be able to see questions and things popping up on your side. So Jason or Debbie or Robin's next to me. If you guys have any questions, just pop in and I'll do my best to answer or tell you that they're going to be answered a little bit later. Everybody can hear me? Jason, you guys got me? You got me screen share? Okay.
Oh, sorry. I probably should add to this. Oh, no, that's me. You haven't added yours yet.
You can see my screen. Can you see my?
Nope. You got to click present and then add.
I did. Uh-oh. I hit present and I can see it on my. Oh.
You got to select which window you're in.
Oh, your browser has blocked your screen. Click the screen icon in your address bar to allow access. All right. I don't actually have that. Let's see here. Share the screen. Block temporarily.
All right. So instead of sharing the screen, he kicked himself out. That's a Peggy move if I ever saw one. Wow. All right. So while we're waiting for them to come back, I will let you know that those of you who are watching live right now, one of you is going to get a chance to win a box resizer. This is an invaluable tool to your business because we all, and I know this goes for all of us that's listening right now, we all have our pile of boxes, and our boxes, you never know when you need that good box, but then there's that one day where you get that box that's perfect this way and this way, but way too tall this way. And it would be silly to leave it tall. Hi, Mark.
Hi.
You are still in on the other one. And so now that's why we're hearing an echo. And goodbye. Sorry, everybody. But you can chop it down. You score around the inside, and then you can then cut the corners and then fold it in. So A, you save on packing material, but B, since most big things nowadays go by dimensional weight as opposed to actual weight, it's best to do this. All right, Mark, your thing says devices not connected. So you're kind of here, but kind of not. Hey, Debbie, you want to hop in here and tell us how the Seahawks are doing?
We won.
I saw you cheering while I was doing my segments. There's Mark.
It's a crazy game. Fumbles and all kinds of things, but we won. We beat New York. I think they were 6-1, and now they're 7-2.
Can you see my screen share now?
Nope, not yet. I'm taking it back out now.
We had it earlier. See screen share.
And then you got to select which window.
No, let's see. This is a select screen, a window. Entire screen. Allow.
And then you got to click share. There it is. All right. So
you can see the slide now.
Yahoo!
Does Jason Thrifts and Bubblefast present?
Yes, we can. Good job.
All right. Sorry about the techno issue, but we're ready to roll. You good?
Heck yeah.
Okay, so Jason Thrifts and Bubblefast presents. You ready for this? Shipping is effing complicated. We're going to talk about the fourth quarter 22 shipping changes and how you can deal with them. Okay. So first of all, very brief introduction to Bubblefast. This is run by Mark and Robin Levine, husband and wife team. And Bubblefast has been around. We're a family-owned business, and we've been selling shipping supplies online to other online sellers. We began by selling a single roll of bubble on eBay in 1999. So we've been around for a while. And we basically cater to other small e-commerce businesses. So we take big packages of shipping supplies and break them down into smaller packages. And so we're online sellers selling to other online sellers. So that's our very brief introduction. This is what we're going to talk about tonight. First of all, I'm going to give you a very quick recap of some of the changes the USPS made in April, just as a reminder. Then we're going to go into holiday peak surcharges for the three major carriers. We're to avoid some of the surcharges, so there's not too much panic. We're going to give you the holiday shipping deadlines for the three major carriers. And again, you'll get access to all this later on, so you won't have to write this stuff down. We'll talk about eBay international shipping. Jason alluded to that earlier. There aren't major peak surcharges or anything, but there is something brand new to talk about with eBay. And we do recommend that you do international shipping. So as I said, Jason already talked about that a little bit earlier. We are going to give you a bonus surprise later on that hopefully will be helpful to everybody for their shipping, not just for the fourth quarter. And then we're going to have a couple slides for tips and links to everything that we talk about later on at the end of the presentation. And with that, we're going to do the brief recap now. There were 2 different kinds of changes based on size, basically, that the post office introduced in April. Most of you probably know about this already, but in case you don't, it's pretty big. So this is going to be important to you. All right. So the first rule is any package for the post office for most services that's greater than 22 inches but less than 30 inches, they instituted a new service fee of $4 beginning, quite a few months ago. So hopefully you're all familiar with this. Anything greater than 30 inches is a $15 surcharge. So the post office really doesn't want to take your big packages. And if it's lightweight, but still greater than 2 cubic feet, it's still $15. And if you have a package that's greater than 30 inches on one side and it's greater than 2 cubic feet, the surcharges are going to stack. So it could be a $30 surcharge. So be very careful about shipping large packages through the post office. Next, the other kind of surcharges they initiated were called dimensional surcharges. This applies to packages greater than 1 cubic foot or any length greater than 22 inches. 22 inches is here. 22 inches was on the last screen. That kind of tells you that 22 inches is the break-even point for the post office's sorting equipment. So there's going to be surcharges for anything greater than 22 inches. If you do not put in your dimensions, they're going to charge you $1.50. If you do put in your dimensions, but you put them in wrong, they're going to charge you $1.50. Now, these potentially are all hidden charges. You may not see them. You won't see these charges when you try to rate shop because they don't know that the dimensions are wrong or the dimensions are missing. So these are charges you may see buried in a future bill later on. So $1.50 here and $1.50 there really adds up. So be very, very careful when you use this is for the post office, especially for larger packages. Make sure your dimensions are entered and they're entered accurately.
So Mark asks Mark, does eBay calculate these surcharges based on our entered dimensions?
Yes, they do. So if you enter them incorrectly, eBay may give eBay, when you have eBay billing is very confusing because it's very, very detailed. So if you get charged back in the future, you may not know it because it's so buried in all the other details. So just be as accurate as you can up front. Now, the other surcharges for size, again, if you put the dimensions in accurately, eBay will be able to calculate the extra $15 up front that you will know about. And like I said, I'm looking at my screen, so I can't see any questions popping up. So Jason, thank you for bringing that question. It's good timing. Okay, now let's talk about this year's holiday peak surcharges. And there's going to be the post office and FedEx and UPS as the major carriers that we're going to talk about. They started October 2nd, but some of the surcharges are varied throughout the year. So we'll have to pay attention to timing as well as the other details. So first, we're going to talk about Priority Mail and Priority Mail Express. And as you can see from this chart, all flat rate boxes and all flat rate envelopes are going to be 75-cent surcharge no matter what the weight is because it fits in the flat rate boxes or envelopes. But other than that, the surcharges vary based on weight and by distance. So zones 1 through 4 are a quarter up to 10 pounds, but they could be $3 on a $26 to $70 box, 70-pound box. So hopefully, by the time you get up to, the 11 to 25 or 26 to 70-pound packages, you're using a ground surface anyway. But if you're not, these are extra surcharges that you're going to have to build into your prices, especially if you're doing flat rate or free shipping. And zones, again, 5 through 9 is further away, so the charges are more. There's going to be a cutoff in all of these between zones 1 and 4 and 5 through 9 mostly because the post office in zones 1 through 4 deliver by ground, and anything above zone 4, they're going to deliver via air. And so they're charging you more money because they're going via airplane. So any questions, just pipe in whenever you can.
On the dimensions, are the surcharges based on what we list in the listing or on the actual time of printing?
The dimensions and the weight is what actual is. So it's going to be at the time of printing. If they're accurate, if they're not accurate, then later on you're going to get a charge, a surcharge later on after it's scanned. So that's why it's just really important to make sure you're as accurate as possible when you list. And I'll say this again later. When you list a product and you're putting in weights and dimensions, put in the weights and dimensions of your product packaged, not as your product unpackaged, because you're going to be charged for shipping based on the package size and the package weight. A lot of people will say, oh, this is a 5-pound product, but by the time they put a lot of bubble wrap in boxes and they add an extra 2 pounds, then they're putting in an inaccurate weight into their listing. So make sure weights and dimensions are based on the packaged product. Okay, for first class, again, October 2nd. So this has already started for almost a month already. This is actually quite simple. Again, zones 1 through 4 is a quarter, and zones 5 through 9 is 40 cents. Pardon me? Okay. So it may not sound like a lot of money, a quarter or 40 cents, but something you're shipping first class, you're 40 cents could be a big percentage. Something that may have cost $3.60 is now going to be $4, and they do add up. So if you're doing, again, flat rate or you're doing free shipping, you may want to adjust your prices between now and January 22nd. And by the way, all the carriers have very, very conveniently ended holiday peak surcharges the day before the 2023 rate increases take place. So don't kid yourself.
Such BS.
It is going to go away. BS. Yeah, they're going to get worse, not better. They're going to go away, but then you're going to have your increases, which is a whole nother presentation for another day. Okay. So for FedEx, Express, and Ground International, we're moving on from the post office to FedEx. Right now, we're just going to talk about Express and Ground and International Ground. There are basically 3 types of services that surcharges apply to. And these are not your regular packages. These are additional handling, oversized, and unauthorized packages. So these are basically based on size and weight. So you're not going to have any surcharges additional for the most part on regular FedEx Ground or UPS Ground. But if they're big, you're going to. So before I go on to the next slide, you need to know, if you don't already, that last year, UPS and FedEx already initiated surcharges, not peak surcharges, but additional handling surcharges for all these categories. And last year, there were a flat rate of somewhere around $17.50, $18, just based on the fact that these are big. And what they did this year is they changed them from flat rate to zone based. So now it could be as much as $22 extra just because of its additional handling and oversized package. So these holiday peak surcharges are in addition to the surcharges that they've already initiated.
Excuse me, let me bend over.
Exactly.
Hey, what's an unauthorized package? What is that?
Jason, I'm glad you asked. But let's talk about additional handling first. Okay.
Okay.
Additional handling, there's 3 different kinds of additional handling: dimensions, weight, and packaging. So on your dimensions, if one side is greater than 48 inches, you're going to get slapped with the $20 surcharge plus an additional $6.55 holiday peak surcharge starting in October. From September 5th to October 2nd, which is already passed, they had a $3.45 surcharge. They've already increased that. If you have a second side greater than 30 inches, you've already paid your $20 additional handling charge. Now it's another $6.55 for peak. Same thing if your weight is greater than 50 pounds of the package, not your personal weight. Sorry. And then if your packaging is not in a corrugated box, if you ship it in a plastic bag, or if you ship it in stretch film, or if you ship it and it's oblong and funny shaped, it's not going to fit and goes smoothly on their conveyor belts, you're going to get socked with the $20 or so surcharge for extra additional handling and the $6.55. So it's whether it's the post office or FedEx or UPS, it's becoming very, very expensive to ship heavy and large boxes. They just don't want it. The second,
are you listening, mother?
So it's very expensive when she tries to ship you off, right, Jason?
Yeah.
All right, because you're both big and heavy, right? Okay.
Oh crap! I just realized their Christmas gift, which I've had for 6 months, is really big. I should have got ready.
Well, don't charge them for shipping. You know, that'd be part of the gift.
Mom and Dad, you owe me.
All right. The second type is oversized, and this is based on a package that's still less. It's greater than 50, but less than 150 pounds, and the length is 96. And do we know what length plus girth is? If the length plus girth is greater than 130, you're going to get charged of $68.75.
Crazy.
So length plus girth means you take the longest side, and then you take your tape measure and go around the other two sides, and that's the girth. So length plus girth greater than 130, which is a pretty good sized box, is going to cost you an extra almost $70.
Now, most of us watching this aren't shipping 150-pound items, so that's good. But be aware.
Again, there's dimensional weight.
Yeah.
Okay. So we sell a product, excuse me, that's in a box that's 36 inches by 24 inches by 18 inches. And we do get additional handling charges assessed to us because shipping supplies are big and lightweight, but it's the big, right? So with dimensional weight, it's a 15-pound box, but it ships as if it's almost 70 pounds. So weight is dimensional weight, not just actual weight. So that's what you have to be careful of. And now back to Jason's original question, drum roll, please. An unauthorized package is just really heavy or really big. And look at your peak surcharge, $385. By the time you're shipping something 150 pounds, you're probably shipping via truck anyway. So hopefully this doesn't apply to many people. If it does, you'll find another way to ship it. Because this is $385. That's additional to the regular charges and additional to the regular surcharges for being large. So everybody's still there, or are they all fainted yet?
Oh yeah. They nobody wants our big packages anymore.
No, they don't. And if it's going to get paid for. Okay, so more FedEx. This may not apply to that many people. The first part, there was a service called Smart Post that the name has been changed to Ground Economy. Smart Post through FedEx. The FedEx would pick it up and they would drive it across the country to the local post office, who would then take it the quote unquote last mile. FedEx has pretty much completely cut out the post office, and they're still delivering Smart Post directly to the end user, to the end recipient. So they changed the name from Smart Post to Ground Economy. That's just on the side. So between tomorrow and November 7th, all of your Smart Post packages are going to cost you an extra $1.50. During really peak time between November 28th and December 11th, it's going to cost you $2.50. And then between December 12th and January 15th, back down to $1.50, just in time for the new rates to get applied for 2023. So if you use Smart Post, nobody weighs this. Be aware, $1.50 to $2.50 is not a small amount. So that used to be a very inexpensive way to ship packages. They take a little bit longer, but these surcharges are going to apply starting tomorrow. So happy Halloween every day. There's your tricks. Okay, residential, you mostly aren't going to have to worry about that, but I just, as part of the process of understanding how complicated and how ridiculous these surcharges are, I'm going to go through this for shits and giggles and groans, okay? It's totally ridiculous. If you ship something commercial and you don't know that it's actually going to residential address, there is something called the residential surcharge for FedEx, because they have something called FedEx Home. UPS just has a residential service. But again, if you ship it commercial, a residential surcharge gets tacked onto it. That applies to everybody no matter what. If you're a really big shipper, okay, I'm going to go through this fast because it's not going to play. This is like 20,000 packages a week or something, but it's just ridiculous.
Oh, that's all of us.
It's just ridiculous. It's not us. It's just ridiculous. There's delivery surcharges every week based on volume and a peaking factor with a 2-week lag based on shipping back in June and July of 2022. And then they multiply it by 100. So it's a calculation nobody could figure out and nobody cares. And the peaking factor is based on this chart that is blinding to me, and I know what's going on. So the more you shipped in the past residential, the more they charge you as a surcharge. And again, it doesn't apply to us now, but if they can do this now for very large shippers, you can count on something like this happening to us down the road.
Trickle down.
So
let me jump in here real quick, because a lot of people are like, as Rags said, I'm taking down all my listings that don't fit in a 12 by 12 by 12. Right before we started, Mark and I were teaching Debbie that customers don't give a crap what it costs if they want it, more so than need it. And so just because the prices are going up doesn't mean the customers are going to stop paying. I mean, I sold 2 promo CDs for $224. People have money to burn. So don't stop selling your big stuff. Just make sure you're covered. And
so
I will get off my soapbox.
So I know this is Halloween and it's spooky and it's scary, and there's ways around some of the stuff. I'm not trying to scare you into stopping selling at all. That's not the point of this. This is just reality and the way things are. So we're very much afraid of raising prices, but I will tell you, part of the overlap of COVID and economy being so good the first couple of years, and then things being the way they are now, and the supply chain and all that crap that we're tired of hearing, everybody was raising their prices. A container from China used to cost $3,000. It went to $20,000. It got to the point where we just raised our prices 3-4 times a year. Nobody flinched. Nobody batted an eye. Everybody's raising their prices for everything. It's become the standard. It's become expected. I was afraid to do it. I had no choice because we couldn't afford the increases on shipping. We couldn't afford the increases on our product. One of our suppliers in 12 to 18 months increased our prices 8 times. And we kept raising our prices to cover it, and it didn't slow things down because people have become numb to the increased prices because everybody's doing it and they're getting used to it. So as Jason said, don't let it scare you away. Just cover yourself. That's why we're having this conversation. If you have calculated shipping, you're fine. eBay and Amazon and other marketplaces have beat it into our heads that customers want free shipping, and they do. And so if you do free shipping, then just make sure that you cover yourself for some of the increases that we cannot get around. The last 2 for FedEx Residential, don't worry about it. Like I said, it's not for us. But I just want to let you know how crazy FedEx and UPS are getting, and just be prepared in the future for something like this. The other surcharges, we're either going to figure out a way to get around, or we're going to figure out a way to add it into our costs so that we're covered. But Jason's right. It's Christmas. People want this stuff, and they're still going to buy it online. So don't close your shops. Just be aware that these exist, and you need to deal with it. Is that hopefully a little bit comforting? And with that, I'll move on a little bit, unless there's more questions at this point, Jason.
Nope. Go ahead.
Okay. So very quickly, one slide on UPS because it mirrors FedEx as they always do. The additional handling was $655 for FedEx. It's $650 for UPS. Oversized was $68.75 or $68.95. Unauthorized packages was $385, so they're very, very close. The oversized and unauthorized hopefully doesn't affect very many people. The additional handling, again, because of dimensional weight, that you have to be aware of when you have a large package. So this, again, is, we're done with UPS because it's very, very similar to FedEx. Okay. As I said a few minutes ago, it's not
good news. Yay!
No, I'm not saying I got good news. I'm just saying it's not all bad news. There are ways around this. So certain marketplaces and shipping software providers are able to waive some of the holiday peak surcharges, some of which most of you are already aware. So there's certain, so as long as you ship with these marketplaces or with these software providers, then some of the stuff isn't going to affect you. So it is good news. So eBay and Etsy and Shippo and ShipStation and Pirate Ship have all negotiated with the post office to waive some of these surcharges from us. So everything I just said and some of the areas, if you use these shippers, they're not going to affect you. So it's not all bad news. Pirate Ship came out with it first, and then Etsy, and then eBay negotiated. ShipStation just came out with it, and Robin said Shippo just came out the other day. So if you do more than just eBay, and you have your own website, or you're doing Shopify, whatever, and you use Shippo or ShipStation or Pirate Ship, you're going to get some waivers on some of these holiday peak surcharges. So let's see, which ones are they? So for priority mail, again, it's like zone-based and weight-based. So all flat rate boxes and envelopes are waived. If you use eBay, Etsy, Pirate Ship, Shippo, ShipStation, if you use those to print your labels, not Amazon, but we'll talk about that later. All flat rate boxes and envelopes for Priority Mail and Priority Mail Express, you will not get the 75-cent surcharge. You will get the surcharge waived if your weight is up to 2 pounds and you're shipping with zones 1 through 6. So zones 7 through 8, you will pay the surcharge. Up to 3 pounds, you get waived up to zone 5. And up to 10 pounds, you get waived up to zone 4. So if you have a 9-pound package and you're shipping into zone 7, you are going to pay the surcharge. Nobody has that waived. We can't control where we ship things, but if you add the surcharge into your free shipping product and it gets shipped to a zone that we have the waiver, then all of a sudden that becomes a revenue center that would offset the charges for something past the zone. So if you add I'm saying that again, if you add the surcharge into your flat rate or free shipping price, you should balance out in the end, because some will get waived and some will not get waived. So either way, it shouldn't hurt you too badly, because you cannot control where your product is being sold to. So that's just a way, if you add it in, that you can level out a little bit. Any questions?
No, we're just talking about how we love our padded flat rate envelopes.
Yes, I do too. And the Scotty stuffer fits in it perfectly, up to 70 pounds.
Yes, it does.
Which we're not even talking about. Okay, so ground, eBay, and we haven't found anybody else yet, but there may be other people, but eBay is the only one that we found so far that has some peak surcharges waived. So for FedEx and for UPS. With UPS, they're not charging a peak surcharge at all for anybody, but they're having a slight rate increase in their base rates that are just kind of hidden in there. So everybody's paying a little bit more for peak on whether it's eBay or not for UPS. But for FedEx, the charges are being waived per package, and there's no residential surcharge, which is huge, because residential surcharges can be $5.20 if you ship commercial and it ends up being residential. So there's no residential surcharge for peak. So that is pretty big actually for eBay. But again, we're not aware of anybody else who's waiving those. Okay, we good to go?
Yep.
All right, because I can't see anything on your side. Okay, so I'm going to give you some slides on holiday shipping deadlines for the post office, for FedEx, and for UPS. And you don't have to write these down, and I don't have to read them, because it's all going to be available when you get the link to this presentation at the end. So just look at it very quickly. December 25th is a Sunday this year, which means a lot more packages are going to be specified to be delivered on Saturday. So when you specify Saturday delivery, there will be extra fees.
Of course.
Okay, so I mean that's for everybody. Like you can and UPS and FedEx, you can say 2-day delivery if it's Thursday, but if you specify, because you specify by Saturday because people want it by Sunday, that's going to cost you extra. So be aware of that, because I'm not aware to date that eBay allows us or Amazon allows us to invoice customers for extra shipping charges. So you'll have to build that in as one of your shipping options. If you want Saturday delivery, you've got to make that an option and charge extra for it in your listings. So again, if it's Thursday and you ask 2-day delivery, it's not guaranteed. You think it's going to be, it's a risk that it's most likely going to be delivered on Saturday, but not guaranteed. So if you really, really need it on Saturday, you have to specify it, but you will pay extra for it. Got it?
Got it.
Okay. So here's the UPS deadlines. I'm not going to read it to you. You'll get it yourself later. But it's, retail ground is what Parcel Select used to be. It just got renamed. And Parcel Select isn't really.
And look, enough with the rename and everything. Yeah. Good.
And, yeah, that happened a few years ago. But in case you want
I mean, everything keeps getting renamed. I was like,
well, a whole bunch of years ago, they split Parcel Select up into Parcel Select commercial and retail ground. So, and it's more expensive. Retail ground means that you're going to the post office and buying it. And right now, if anybody is actually going to the post office to buy postage, they better sign up for Jason's class for this Thursday.
Dude, I am shocked. I'm in other groups and I see people standing in line and buying postage. And I'm like, oh my God, you are spending more money on to the man than you have to. Stop it.
Just so you all know, if you go to the post office and buy postage, you're paying retail over-the-counter prices. If you go to USPS.com, that used to give you commercial pricing, you are still paying retail non-discounted prices. Don't ever buy postage at the post office. Don't ever buy labels on USPS.com. Use ShipStation, Stamps.com, eBay, Shippo, Pirate Ship, whatever it is. Whatever you want to use, don't buy it at the post office. Don't buy it at USPS.com. That's just an extra tip for the night.
And here's how I equate to people who still don't have that. I don't get it. You go on vacation, you rent a car. You got to return it full of gas. And you forget that until the last gas station right before the airport. That gas station is $1 more a gallon than the gas station 2 miles away. So you want to go to that gas station 2 miles away. If you walk into the post office, that's you going to the gas station right next to the airport and paying that extra money. Don't do that. Do not do that. Don't go to the post office and ever pay for anything. Please.
Maybe postage stamps. That's about it.
Oh, you can get those on eBay cheaper.
Yeah. And post office is a good place to pick up free shipping supplies, but you can do that online also for free. All right. So this is the post office holiday shipping deadlines. This is FedEx. Ground economy, as I said, used to be Smart Post. And just as an FYI from Robin, for those of you that are shipping to customers buying for Hanukkah, Hanukkah begins on Sunday, December 18th. So keep the deadlines in mind for not just for Christmas, but for Hanukkah as well. Ground is ground. Home. You know what all the rest of this is. Now, this next slide is for UPS, and there's one little piece that I find very interesting. So FedEx ground deadline is Wednesday, December 14th. Look at the ground deadline for UPS. They don't tell you.
Good luck.
You got to go to ups.com.
How can they not tell you? Come on.
Is the slide advanced on your side, guys? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of lag from when I click and from when you see it. So the UPS does not tell you what the deadline is.
It's a mystery.
Yeah. So I find that rather interesting. All right, let me move on. Got to respect your time. Okay. Jason talked about international shipping a little bit. It's something you all need to explore. Right now, there are 3 different ways to ship. This is just for eBay. There are 3 different ways to ship on eBay international. International standard delivery means that you as a seller are going to ship the product yourself, charge and ship the product yourself to a foreign country. The advantage to that is that you can combine shipping. There's a lot of disadvantages because you have very little protection. You really don't know who's paying what import duties and things like that. A lot of people prefer it because they like to be able to do combined shipping, and eBay doesn't do that. But again, if something gets lost or gets delayed, nobody has your back. I mean, nobody has your back.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the first way that eBay offered international shipping 1 billion years ago. The newer way was the eBay Global Shipping Program, where all you do is you sign up for the Global Shipping Program. You pick and choose which listings you want to ship Global Shipping Program, and when something sells, you ship it to a local hub. I think it's in Kentucky, Erlanger, Kentucky. You only pay shipping to Kentucky. eBay takes care of the imports. They take care of the duties. They take care of charging the customer for shipping. We don't even know what it is. We can't invoice, like we're in the Global Shipping Program, and if they don't pay, we can't invoice them again because eBay takes care of all of that. And so there's some great advantages to that. But again, eBay
Mark, you know it's going away, right?
What's that?
Global shipping.
Well, stay tuned.
Okay, because you were talking like it's still good to go, but yeah, it's changing.
It's good to go now. Okay, are you ready for me to click my mouse, Jason?
Gotcha. Sorry, I'm doing things that
You ready? Here we go.
All right.
Brand new eBay international shipping. Woo, 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 woo. This is still basically in beta. They're inviting people a little bit at a time. Later on, I'll give you a link where you can ask to be enrolled, and then there's like a rollout of new sellers every couple of weeks. This is going to be the program that's going to replace the Global Shipping Program with a lot more advantages. That's going to be phenomenal for everybody. We've already signed up for it, and hopefully we'll be in like a week or two. Here are some of the highlights of eBay International Shipping. It will be available to over 200 countries. eBay handles all of the returns. As far as I know, the returns go back to eBay, and they're going to keep the product and wholesale it out or do whatever they want to do. We don't have to care about it because we still keep the sale. eBay will handle all the returns. They'll keep the product, and we don't care because we still keep the money. This is phenomenal not to have to worry about returns at all. This is a big, big, big deal. If there's any shipping related feedback, I don't know if it's allowed or not, but if it is allowed, eBay takes care of it. We will not have any shipping related bad feedback using the eBay International Shipping Program. And we get protection against items not received and chargebacks. Because again, we're shipping it to local warehouses of eBay, probably still starting in this is going to be in Chicago, Robin tells me, which is great for us because we're near Chicago. So again, we just ship all of our goods. So if we have Zone 7 shipping built into all of our free shipping products, and we're shipping every international shipping product to Chicago or to Kentucky, we're making money on shipping. It's great. And eBay is taking care of everything. Again, they're charging the customer for shipping, imports, duties, all of that stuff. I mean, other than, again, not having combined shipping, we've been trying to find ways to pick this apart and find bad stuff. And we haven't so far. There was some incongruities about how are we getting paid? When are we getting paid? I got a definitive answer because it was confusing. We don't get paid upon the sale. We get paid upon delivery. The question is, do we get paid upon delivery to the customer, or do we get paid upon delivery to the international domestic center? And I got a definitive answer yesterday from eBay. Once it arrives in the Chicago or Kentucky warehouse, that's when we get paid. So if it takes you 2 to 3 days to ship it, you'll get paid in 2 to 3 days. We don't have to worry about if the customer buys, if the customer pays, or if it gets delivered or anything. So to me, this sounds like a win-win for all sellers. There's still some things that can't go, like certain sizes and certain weights and things, but little by little, everything's going to be rolled out. Again, you can pick and choose what you want to be as part of the program. And I don't know, are there questions yet? Because this is pretty good to me.
Yeah, Tina said that right now they're only going up to $150 items.
Right.
So
right. But that
eventually it'll be $1,000.
Right. And so sometime in the first quarter, they're going to raise that. And there's no charge for eBay fees on international shipping. That's another new thing. And then what, Rob you saying?
You can still exclude.
And you can exclude certain countries like Germany, for example. That's really in France. It's following Germany with some crazy, stupid rules. So you can pick and choose which foreign countries you want to ship to. So, you know, if you're not shipping international, this is the program for you. It's not going to hurt you in any way, shape, or form. And all of a sudden, you got 200 more countries you can ship to. So this is nothing but more sales for you. And eBay is much, much more competitive in the United States than it is in other countries, because we're all here shipping and competing against each other. But foreign countries don't have access in their own countries to the amount of goods that are selling on ebay.com. So I'll have a link at the end of the presentation on how you can find out more about eBay International Shipping and how you can sign up for it. Okay, we good?
You're great.
Okay, moving on. I need like a drum roll or something, Jason. You got something for me?
Let me see what I got here. Hold on. How about Godzilla and King Kong fighting? There we go.
Beautiful.
And bonus.
Here's your bonus surprise. There's a new software out there called Vico. It is a multi-channel shipping software. It does a lot of things. The most important things that it does for us right now, and I don't know if you're going to understand how good this is, but I'll try to make it clear to you. You can use Amazon shipping rates for your major marketplaces. Using Vico software, you can use Amazon's shipping rates for your eBay sales.
Now, for those that don't sell on Amazon, what's that mean to them?
It means nothing. It means nothing. It means everything. You can use Amazon shipping rates if you only ship on eBay. It doesn't matter. So you can. Amazon has these phenomenal UPS rates that don't charge residential surcharges, for example, on small packages. Shipping on using Amazon shipping rates for UPS ground are usually 10 cents less than USPS first class. So they'll get there better with a more reliable service, and you can use Amazon's rates whether you have an Amazon account or not. This is big, okay? I don't know. You have to understand how big this is. Now, the one area where it's not so big is that Amazon is the one major marketplace that is not waiving any of the USPS surcharges for holiday peak season. Okay.
Sure.
But if you're shipping ground using Amazon rates, sometimes we can save, I'm not kidding, $10 a package. So again, if you're building in flat rate shipping or free shipping to zone 6 or zone 7, and then you're going to use Amazon's rates and saving $10, that $10 goes into your pocket. This is big news. Vico was a separate company that offered these services, but Amazon bought them. The other things Vico can do that we have not explored yet because it's not really ready for prime time yet is cross-channel inventory control. So if you sell on one, it deletes inventory from the other. You can pick the inventory with your cell phone, with your smartphone, and it has some good analytics and forecasting. These are just gravy to number one, using Amazon shipping rates for your major marketplaces. Now, what is so good about this bonus surprise? Why is this bonus surprise so effing awesome? It's absolutely free. You can sign up for Vico. It integrates with Amazon. It integrates with eBay. It integrates with other marketplaces. It costs you nothing to have the ability to use Amazon shipping rates for your other marketplaces. And again, you do not need an Amazon account. You can put in your own credit card. It has UPS tracking. It has USPS tracking. Everything will get posted back if you're integrated. So if you use Vico to print an eBay label for UPS, the tracking number will get posted back to your eBay listing, sold item. It's absolutely free. So here you can sign up at vico.com, look at it later on. You can ask me for questions later on. We are using this, and I got permission from Vico to tell you all about this. It's new. Not everybody knows about it. This should be a big wow for you. Jason, we do not, just as Robin pointed out, we do not save money on every single package, but especially if there's delivery area surcharges or extended delivery area surcharges, Amazon for UPS has all that waived. So you still need to rate shop, but as long as it's free and takes you a couple extra seconds, you might as well try it out and see if it saves you some money. All right. Anybody have any wows or any questions about that yet? All right, let me move on. We're getting towards the end. I know we got to respect your time. The integrations for Vico is BigCommerce, Magento, Shopify, Shopify Plus, and WooCommerce. So if you have a website on any of these platforms, they integrate for free in Vico, and you can use Amazon shipping rates without going to Amazon. So
it's worth checking.
Okay, so somebody's asking if it's cheaper than Pirate Ship. For UPS, and in some instances, yes, it is. Pirate Ship is still going to be better from the post office side. But again, we've saved as much as $10 or more using Vico for some of our bigger packages going further distances that have DAS and extended DAS charges. So it is something worthwhile to rate shop. What marketplaces? Amazon, eBay, Etsy, not on the high street, which honestly I haven't heard. Walmart.com. And if you don't sell on these, but you have the ability to download a CSV file of your sales, you can upload those into Vico. Our Bubblefast website is not in any of those platforms. So we can download, create a CSV file, upload it into Vico, and print our labels through there. It's not integrated. It's a little bit more work, but it's worth saving $10 a label for us to do that. Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay. So we're coming to the end. I want to just add a few extra tips. You want to make sure that your packages are obviously as small and light as possible, but you must maintain the integrity of your package. Number one priority, no pun intended, is to make sure your package gets there safely and undamaged. But in the meantime, make it a small, don't overpack. That's the tip. Okay. One of the ways to do that is to use a box resizer tool that we'll talk about again in the next slide that helps reduce excess box height. So if you have a box that's too big, don't fill it with paper. Don't fill it with packing peanuts. Don't fill it with extra bubble wrap. Cut the box down because we're charged based on size more often than we are by weight. See if smaller multiple packages are better for you because they might ship for less than a single larger package, especially if the large package is subject to extra handling charges. Now, if you have a big object, you're not going to, Houdini it and break it in half and think it's going to come back together later when you do it. But if you're doing quantities of something, like we do bubble mailers, like maybe it's cheaper to do 2 packages of 250 000s than 1 package of 500. It's just something you need to keep in mind. But when you're ready to ship, and if you're shipping something to a far zone, this may help you out if you do 2 smaller packages. As a matter of fact, if you can do 2 smaller packages in a flat rate envelope or a flat rate box, that actually may be less expensive than doing 1 larger, heavier package going ground. So this is something you should examine at the time of shipping. Now, I said this earlier and can't stress this enough. Make sure you accurately enter your weight and dimensions of your packaged product when you create your listings, not your product before it's packaged, because you may find some surprises. 2 pounds or 2 inches can make a huge difference. Rate shop across multiple shipping softwares. We've talked about this a lot. Pirate Ship is a great option. They have the best post office rates you're going to find. And they also have some very good UPS rates. And they also have some good rates for international. It's called Simple Export, which you don't get automatically, but you just ask the chat in the chat for Simple Export. And they give that to you, which means that instead of you charging and paying imports up front, the end user pays for it at the end. And I talked about this again earlier. Amazon does not have the best USPS rates. They don't waive any of this peak surcharges. Pirate Ship, which is really easy to use, does if you have an off eBay. When you compare Pirate Ship to eBay, other than cubic pricing, they're going to be very, very comparable. If you have an off eBay sale, you want to go to Pirate Ship because they may, if you have an Amazon sale, go to Pirate Ship. If you're using post office, it's probably going to be less expensive using Pirate Ship over USPS Amazon. For all of our flat rate packages, we use for all of our Bubblefast, for all of our Amazon sales that ship USPS flat rate, we use Pirate Ship and on a website as well. And don't forget about cubic and cubic soft pack pricing for USPS. That's a whole nother presentation. We're not going to go into that now, but Pirate Ship offers cubic pricing. eBay does not. Any package that's length times width times height that's less than half a cubic foot and less than 20 pounds and less than 18 inches is eligible for cubic pricing, which is less than regular priority in most cases. So if you want to ask me questions about that offline, please do so. Like I said, that's a whole nother presentation and it's getting late today. Okay, so the box sizer, as you can see, those are Robin's hands. This is a tool that right here, you can see a little line right here. There's a perforation wheel at the bottom of this box sizer tool. So when you scratch the box sizer tool across all 4 sides of the box, and then you cut down the 4 sides to meet the line, you are creating flaps that are shorter than the original, and you're saving however many inches. It's a way to save money on boxes because you don't necessarily have to buy multiple boxes because you can use the same box many times and just cut it down. And you're saving money on shipping because your dimensional weight is going down. When you get this slideshow presentation later, you can click here to see a video demonstration of Robin showing you how to use the box sizer tool. I will also tell you that when this presentation is over, we are going to be having a raffle of a box resizer tool. So somebody who's still on the show, listening to the show, can answer a question, and you can win one of these for free on your own. And very quickly, here's links that we talked about: eBay Holiday Shipping Guide, eBay Shipping Calculator, which you can use in advance to do your free shipping, eBay International Shipping, which also shows you a place where you can say, there's a little button that says I'm interested towards the bottom. Click on that, and you'll get an email from the International Shipping team, and they'll put you on the list for that. The USPS peak season rates, the FedEx peak season rates, the UPS peak season rates. I gave you all the highlights here, but if you really want to dig in the weeds, be my guest. Now, FedEx has something new that they started, like Amazon. They are giving you picture-proof delivery. You can read about it here. I didn't want to go into it too much, but I've used it myself as a seller. When somebody says, I didn't get my package, well, guess what? Here's a picture. FedEx didn't just say that it was delivered. Here's a picture showing that it was delivered. So that helps out quite a bit. Here is a link to Vico. I gave it to you earlier, but now it's in the link page. And, of course, here's a link to Bubblefast. So at that point.
Now, where do we find these links?
So the only 2 things you actually need to write down for this whole presentation is how to find this presentation. And then you'll find these links in the presentation. So the slideshow is available at bit.ly/shipping sucks. You can use any browser, but it is case sensitive, so the S's do have to be capitalized. When you type this into any browser, you will get this entire presentation.
It's in the chat, so you can click on it right now.
Right, so you can copy paste it from here and go, and then and then the second thing you need to write down is Jason Thrifts, which is easy to remember. And if you use that on bubblefast.com website, not eBay, but bubblefast.com website, you will get a 10% discount off our entire website.
That deserves a dancing Carlton.
Okay, well, you can't see me doing it, but I'm doing it. So these
that'll
really
save you some dinero.
So if you get anything out of this presentation tonight, write down these two things, and then because you get the slide presentation, you don't have to write this down. But this is how to get a hold of me, mark@bubblefast.com, or toll free at 877-599-SHIP, SHIP, or 7447. And we're here to answer any questions anytime, or we can address them now if you have any.
So while we're waiting for any more last minute questions, I want to say Mark and Robin have been an amazing part of the reseller community, whether you've just met them tonight or you've known them for a long, long time, like Debbie and me. They've always been there for all the resellers in terms of the products they have and just the information like tonight that was given. So you can go into Q4 without screwing yourself. Now, like Debbie said, she's going to need to watch it a few times, but you also have the links now. So your head is spinning.
And Jason, I'm assuming that anybody can look at this whole presentation on your YouTube channel at a later time.
Oh, yeah. It'll always be here.
It's one thing to look at a presentation and try to remember everything without talking through it. So you can look at the presentation with the links that I gave you, or you can just go back to this show at a later date and play it all back.
Oops, Debbie and I are fighting over comments again. Shoot, man, getting old. You lose your train of thought and then it just doesn't come back.
So I'm a little parched. Been a lot of talk.
That.
Yeah, this is your happy Halloween surprise, everybody.
Treasure find. Oops, treasure find. Dang it. Here's a plug for Bubblefast. Robin and Mark are wonderful. The product is great, and they ship quickly and have great customer service. Buy from Bubblefast.
Well, thank you very much for that wonderful plug. We're here to help, not sell.
All right, so we're going to give away a box resizer, and so I would ask if you already own one, don't jump in and play. Let someone who does not have the joy of using a box resizer, because let me tell you, you're a shipping nerd when you're like, oh, I get to use the box resizer today. Because it's so much fun to watch a box go from $42, 2 inches down, it's $28. How much nicer is that? Yay. All right, so we're going to ask a quick question. If you paid attention tonight, what surcharge is FedEx charging? No, just kidding. That's not the question.
For residential.
Yeah, thank you. I'll be here all week. How long have Mark and Robin, and me for that matter, how long have we been selling on eBay? First correct answer wins the box resizer. Please don't guess if you already have one. Let someone else get the joy. And that was said tonight. You just got to be able to remember and maybe do some math.
Yeah, we did say what year we started, but that's not the question. The question is how many years, not what year did we start?
Yep. The first one I see is Charmaine.
All right, Charmaine. Charmaine. We know Charmaine from the Ecom Chicago group too, in the eBay sellers group from Chicago.
There you go.
So how do we do this? You're gonna get
yeah, Charmaine, if you want to send me your address, I'll get it over to Mark and Robin, and
or she can just give it to me direct at Mark.
Yeah, either way
is fine. Yeah. So other than that, I know we went
I will say most of you paid attention pretty well, but you didn't pay attention to the question. I said, how?
What? Look at Alyssa, 1894.
I said, how many years? I didn't say what year. So you also got to listen to the question, too.
So she's saying we've been selling for 1,894 years. Anybody have any last minute questions?
Oh, apparently 23 was a Powerball number last night, too.
Ah.
So thank you guys very much. It's quite a daunting task every Q4 nowadays. Now, when we all first started this 23 years ago, there wasn't all this horseshit and nonsense of this extra fee, that extra fee. So it's got to be daunting, but don't give up. Don't give up on bigger things. Don't give up on expensive things. Just got to get your pricing right, because customers will still spend dumb money on dumb things. I don't mean that derogatory, but no one needs those 2 CDs I sold tonight for $224, but someone did. So if they want it, they need it, their kid needs it for Christmas, their husband needs it for Christmas, they'll pay for it. You just got to make sure your rates are right.
Just don't want you to get burned. We'll see you around next year too.
Yeah. So is Ecom coming back is more a question for Rich and Nyla, if I'm not mistaken, than Mark and Robin. So we'll have to ask them next time we have them on. And Susan's cutting boxes right now. That is awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful show. Great content. No show next Sunday for 2 reasons. I'm doing the big class on Thursday, so all my energy is going to that. So make sure to please, if you don't need it, but you have a friend who is brand new to selling, make sure to get them over to register for this class. It's there we go. It's a real easy URL to remember. Register for this class and get signed up for Thursday. So Sunday, no show, but the mom and I will be back the following. Stacey and I will actually be in San Diego for a night and relax after teaching the big class on Thursday. All right. Is my clown suit ready for tomorrow? No, my mom sold it from underneath me. Thanks, Mom. And with that, I will say thank you, Robin. Thank you, Mark. And thanks, everybody.
Thanks for having us.
I'm off to the theater. We'll see you all later. Have a great day, everybody. Those of you who are taking the class, I'll see you on Thursday. Bye-bye.